But just a little while ago, I got done installing what they call a lockpick system. It's a bypass system, so you can watch DVDs while you're going down the road, so the passenger can watch the DVDs while you're going down the road. Usually that gets locked out in these things. I mean, these Shelbys are a wonderful car, but they're thinking about you and your safety. But there's nothing like having the passenger enjoy the ride on a longer ride and have the DVD playing so he can watch his favorite DVD on the trip. Now the lockpick comes with a big harness, and I showed you that harness. I'll be showing you that harness. It's going to let the passenger have a little more enjoyment on the trip. Detailed instructions. Looks like quite a wiring harness, but it's plug and play. You just pop a few things in, pop a few things out. These wires I don't even need because that's for cameras, backup cameras, front cameras, stuff like that that I don't have. But I'm going to show you the schematic, and I want you to understand that the schematic needs to be followed exactly. And one of the things that threw me for a loop was that the kit comes with 2 of these connectors. You only use one of them. That connector goes from the back of the display unit to the harness connector of the car. This piece right there connects to that piece into the harness for the pick device. Very important. I didn't put one of these in the beginning because the instructions was kind of vague. As you can see right here, it kind of gives the impression that this piece is part of the harness, but it's not. Here's the clue. These red lines means it's a different part. Pay attention to that. Now I should tell you, the pick works great, and I'll show you. I'll even run through the setup process. But first I want to show you how easy it was to get the panels off and the units out so I can plug it in. You basically unplug your car's harness, plug that car's harness into these pieces and these pieces into the unit. This goes where the GPS, it's the same color code in the car, so you just unplug it, plug that into the harness, plug that into the unit. Very easy. None of this is needed. None of these are needed. None of that's needed unless you have cameras. If you have cameras in the front and back, then you need to pay particular attention to this stuff. I don't have cameras, so it made mine a real plug and play install. Pop some cables in and out, and it should work. Read the instructions carefully, because setup only happens if you hold the phone button on the steering wheel down for 3 seconds. If you just push it and let it go, it's just going to try to make a phone call. Just as the instructions say, this thing will start its own self-diagnostics and setup process internally about 10 seconds after it's plugged in and your key's on. So that's going to happen, just like it says. You got 2 of these in the package. You're only going to use one. It's the size of the connector that's important. You're going to use one or the other. That piece plugs into the harness that comes with the unit right there. This piece is that piece. Just like that. See? Keep that in mind. Very important. So, I'm not trying to sell you the product, but I know that if you're having an issue and you're thinking, boy, should I cut into the harness? Should I wire the brake lever switch? That it's not going to work, because the car still knows you're in reverse, and it will block out the video in reverse, but not in any of the forward gears. So that tells me right there that the computer has more to it than just the brake switch. Don't get stuck. Sometimes you just got to do what you've got to do. I'll show you as we sit in the car, go through the setup, answer the questions, and get it on video so you can have an easier time of it than I did. It was a learning process. So, without further ado, let's get started. Let's get inside the car and let's see where those screws are. I'll point them out to you. We can get this thing going. Okay, here we are. Let's get started. Now, taking the console off is pretty easy. You got 2 bolts down there, actually nuts sticking out of studs. you got an edge right in the back here. That edge is right here. You just get under there with a plastic pry bar or screwdriver or whatever you got, and you don't have to worry about marring the plastic because it comes off really easy. Just pop it up and this whole piece comes off. Couple of wires underneath that you're going to have to disconnect. I left the gear shift on, I left the boot on, and I just folded it up over itself and then turned it to its side so it was 90 degrees to the console. That exposed 2 bolts, one there and one there. These panels pull off just like that. Pretty easy, you see that? Pop right back on when you're done. After you get those 2 screws out and you pop this boot off of your emergency brake handle, can fold that over itself as well and get it out of the way. I applied the brake a little bit just to give me more room when I moved the console back. And you only need about an inch or two. So I left most of that stuff in place. You'll see it kind of looks messy when I did it, but I had plenty of room to work. And then once these screws are out and you get the panel out of the console out of the way, all you got to do is pull up on this, and this whole panel just pops right off. All of this is just a face. This is like a removable face of an aftermarket thing. Because it's just a box behind it, and it's just the screen behind that. So you got 2 pieces, the screen, and you got the box with the DVD player. And this is a removable face, just like I said, like any aftermarket. So you just pop the panel off, unclip two connectors, lay it off to the side. You're going to find a bolt here, here, and here. Another one here, here, and here. You're going to take that off, disconnect the 2 connectors on the back of the screen, set that aside, pull the unit out. Disconnect the connectors at the bottom that you need, plug the harness in, plug the connectors into the harness. I fed the cabling up around the box that's in there. It's the GPS box. I swung it around there. I put double back sticky tape across the top of that, stuck the pick device on top of that, and then the harness was all behind there, so I didn't have to worry about pinching it when I put it all back together. Put the pieces back together in reverse order, put the panel back on, put the connectors in, snapped them in place, screwed them down, put the console back together, put everything back in reverse order, and then started the setup process.
Focus up, ladies. Good evening, and welcome to the birthing suite.
Okay, here we are. Now, as you can see, press the media button.
Right there's fine.
We got video. It's in first gear.
You're not the Mandarin.
Second gear.
Are you? Are you?
Fifth, sixth, fourth,
You don't remember.
second. It's all there.
Right.
Okay?
Personally, I don't remember what I
So,
had.
what we got here.
Look, I need to get.
Phone disconnected.
Oh, I don't have my phone in my pocket. Nah, disregard that. But anyway, the reason here is I'm going to show you how to do the setup. I'm going to go through the setup. What you got to do, press the phone button on the, there. Let me get some air conditioning going before I die.
Old buttons, pal. I used to know. Barely.
Okay, so here we go. You press the phone button right here. Hold it for 3 seconds.
No, not really.
And you get that menu. Very important. Additional options. You need additional options to get where you need to go. And you want to say yes.
We're going out of town.
Okay, we've been through this.
Turn on auto rear cameras. I don't have any. I'm going to say no.
I'm sorry, that's a terrible idea. Please don't touch your bag.
Turn on auto front camera. I don't have any. I'm going to say no.
Is that normal?
Enable turn cameras. I don't have any. I'm going to say no. Turn off automatic DVD in motion. No, I don't want that to turn off. When you first turn it on, it's going to say turn on
Need to worry about that.
automatic DVD motion. You'll say yes to that. But for me, I'm going to say no because it's already on. So I'm going to say no. Nav input GPS enabled. You want to block it? No, I don't want to block it. I want to enable it. So, restore defaults to remove lock pit. That's very important. If you ever want to take it out and reinstall it, if you ever want to take it out and reinstall it, you need to say yes to that, but no if you don't. Once you're done with that, then the screen goes away and you've got DVD playing. Simple as that. So we're good. We're good. That's all there is to setup. Now you're good to drive down the road. Your passenger can enjoy the DVDs going. I happen to have the Avengers #2 in there right now. And we're good to go. So that's all I needed to show you. I was just wanting to make sure that you knew the instructions were kind of vague in a couple areas, and I wanted to show you how easy setup was, but you have to hold the phone button down 3 seconds to get to the right menu. Otherwise, you're going to say, hey, this thing doesn't work, I just wasted all this time. So, until next time, watch Doc's Boost. You never know what's going to come next. Keep watching, subscribe, let's have fun together.